Hey there, and welcome. You know that old saying, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? We've all heard it a million times. It sounds pretty straightforward, but what if it's not just simple, but actually wrong? Today, we're going to dig into that. We're going to challenge this whole idea and uncover a much more powerful way to think about what beauty really is. Yeah, this phrase is everywhere. It's kind of the default explanation, isn't it? It's why your best friend can be obsessed with a song that makes you want to cover your ears, or why one person looks at a painting and sees genius while you're just seeing, well, a bunch of squiggles. The whole idea is that our tastes are completely personal, it's all subjective, and that's that. Case closed. But hold on. What if that very idea, that celebration of it's just my opinion, is actually causing problems? What if it's a source of real disharmony in the world? I know, that sounds like a pretty big claim, but stick with me. Let's really unpack what's going on here. All right, so first up, let's talk about the big contradiction at the heart of this whole beholder thing. Because, when you really start to look closely, the idea that beauty is only personal, it just doesn't quite add up. Okay, so the usual take is that beauty is totally subjective, right? It's all about your personal taste. There's no right answer, no wrong answer, no universal rule book. It's 100% up to you. But if that's true, then how do you explain those things that pretty much everyone agrees are beautiful? I mean, think about it. That feeling of just, wow, when you see a perfect sunset, or the intricate pattern of a snowflake, or just that deep sense of peace and harmony you feel when you're out in nature. Those feelings seem to go way beyond just personal preference, don't they? So this really sets up two different ways of looking at beauty. On one side, you have subjective taste. That's the individual stuff, the things we can argue about, the tastes that we develop over time. And on the other side, you have something more like objective beauty. This is the stuff that feels universal, that brings people together with a sense of harmony. It's the stuff that feels like it's already built into us, something innate. Okay, so who cares, right? Why does any of this even matter? Well, it matters because our choices about what we find beautiful, our aesthetic choices, they aren't just harmless opinions. They actually have real, measurable effects on us and the world around us. Let's use music as an example. It's perfect for this. Think about it. Nobody is born loving, say, death metal or opera. It's something you're exposed to, right? Maybe your friends are into it, or you hear it a lot. And over time, you can acquire a taste for it. You literally cultivate that taste. And here's the kicker. Those cultivated tastes have real effects. Studies have shown that listening to certain kinds of classical music can actually help you relax, lower your heart rate, and reduce tension. On the flip side, some heavy metal music can do the opposite. It can increase arousal, create tension, and even bring up feelings of anger. Now, the point here isn't to say one is good and the other is bad. Not at all. The point is that what we choose to listen to has real physical and emotional consequences. And that brings us to a really important question. If the things we surround ourselves with, the music, the art, the environments, are actively shaping how we feel inside, shouldn't we have a better way to judge them than just, I like it? Well, this is where we can introduce a new yardstick for beauty, one that's a whole lot more meaningful. So, what if we started defining beauty differently? What if, instead of just personal taste, the real measure of beauty was its power to create harmony? Not just out in the world, but inside of us too. And the ultimate goal of all this harmony is a state called equanimity. Now, that might sound like a fancy word, but it's really just about inner peace. It's that feeling of being calm, composed, and emotionally stable, even when life gets chaotic. It's that ability to handle the ups and downs without getting totally thrown off balance. It's a deep, centered kind of stability. This search for inner harmony, for equanimity, it's not some new idea. It's a fundamental human desire. In fact, if you look at almost any major sacred or spiritual tradition on the planet, this is their central goal. So when we look at it this way, true beauty isn't just something nice to look at. It becomes a powerful tool that can actually help us find that inner peace. Okay, so that all sounds great, but how do we actually do it? How do we make that shift from just, superficial taste to this much deeper sense of what's truly beautiful? Well, the philosopher Abershon gives us a kind of roadmap with 3 key steps. Number 1, live naturally. This is all about finding our place within the harmony of the world. Number 2, trust your intuition. We need to learn to listen to that gut feeling, that deep inner compass. And number 3, express individuality. This means being your true self, not just a copy of the latest trend. And this quote from him really nails it. He says, we've all been given this sense of beauty that comes from our purest intuition. But the problem is, most of what we've been calling beautiful is just a product of our intellect. It's our brain calculating things. What's popular, what makes us look good, what gives us an edge. It's not coming from that deeper intuitive place. And this idea applies to everything. Seriously, every little part of your life. It's in how you move, how you dress, how you speak. It's in your posture, your personal taste. It's about choosing clothes that actually express who you are instead of just wearing a uniform dictated by fashion. It's about moving with a natural grace, not some stiff artificial pose. It's even in the words you choose and the way you say them. So let's bring this all together. What does this actually mean for living a beautiful life? Because we've kind of journeyed from a simple, catchy phrase to a whole philosophy for living. Here's the big takeaway. True beauty isn't something you just see or consume. It's not passive. It's something you become. Cultivating this deeper sense of beauty is an active process of shaping your own character. It's about making your entire life, the whole shebang, an expression of that harmony we've been talking about. Every choice you make, from the big ones to the small ones, becomes like a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. You're literally creating a beautiful life. And that really leaves us with one final big question to think about, a question for you. If you decided to let go of defining beauty by what everyone else says, and instead you saw it as a quest for harmony in everything you do, what would your life start to look like? Something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me.